Alright, Schlockmeisters fans, we're going to watch something here called the OASIS, otherwise known as A Savage Hunger. An interesting story how I acquired this film. Stay tuned. Let's watch. Alright, our film starts, we see the aftermath of a plane crash. They're in the desert in the middle of Mexico somewhere. Small plane. As they're showing some of the aftermath, we're seeing some of the couple of scenes from their past lives before they got here. This is not past stuff, this is present. That guy didn't fare too well. Little plane crash humor here.
I only had a little sour cream to... Well, it's an easy way to lose weight. We're on a crash diet.
There's Mark Metcalf. He was the pilot.
Real close.
He thinks there's a settlement nearby.
All the time. I see it. Right over there.
There's about 6 or... Lo and behold, another plane flies overhead. That's Chris Makepeace, by the way. But they don't see him.
Alex? Let me get out of here. I want to have a baby, okay?
Maybe we should take more breaks. It might be better.
They try to walk out of there.
Every half hour instead of every hour.
That woman's got a bad ankle, though.
You shouldn't be walking on this. Even if we did have antibiotics for you.
They push on in the intense heat, and,
Yeah.
is that a light?
See a light, then. What's going on around? Yeah, I see it.
What's that?
Tempers fly sometimes.
He's thinking all off in the wrong direction. He doesn't know where the hell anything is.
They end up finding their other friends. That's what they did.
You came out here. You brought all of them with you.
What exactly was I supposed to do? Leave them all behind?
Louie is struggling.
Go. Let's go.
Chick in the skirt there is played by Suzanne Snyder. You may remember her from Weird Science.
What do you want us to do, beg you?
Our pilot, Mark Metcalf, is lagging behind there, and I think he's lost his mind at this point. I think he thinks he found an oasis. But instead he's found a mouthful of sand, and he's reached the end of the line. So he expires and they leave him. I mean, he's dead, right? The rest of them push on. The next day, one of them ran off with the water. So now they're really getting tired. But they found a camp, maybe? They sure did, and lo and behold, there's some water there. And Suzanne Snyder has a topless scene. I have to zoom in here so you can't see her boobs. But it's a really nice scene, actually. She's washing off Chris Makepeace. Lucky man. The woman with the bad ankle's dying, gangrene. And he said she's food.
That would be murder. Can you kill her?
It would be putting her out of her misery.
Well, she ended up dying and the guy buried her so she wouldn't be eaten.
Where'd you put the body? You're a thief. I buried her.
Or you'll never find her.
He's hungry. Anyway, they get into a fight, and he kills the guy, so he may not be able to eat that other body of that woman, but maybe he can eat this guy. 3 survivors left now. And oh yeah, shit's getting real. We've got ourselves a cannibal movie now. Yummy. Anyway, it's just the 3 of them left now, and the meat's getting low, and things are getting a little tense around the camp.
And so does Jake. He told me so. It's just that you'll understand when you get older. Really, you will.
I may not be getting any older. What do you think's gonna happen when the food runs out? I'm next.
I wouldn't do that.
Anyway, Chris Makepeace wanders off a little bit, and he finds the water bottles, or the water buckets from those 2 that ran off with the water the other day. They seem to have fried in the sun. The buckets are still good. So he grabs Jennifer, the girl, and says, let's get out of here.
Found Alex and Anna. They're dead. Now you and I can get out of here.
But before they can get out of there, they get busted. The guy catches them.
Where'd you get those?
I found them. I was gonna wake you after I filled them.
Lying little bastard. I fed you, and you're taking off without me.
There's no more food. I'm next. I know that much.
All right. We'll be fair about it. How's that? I'll take my chances with you. We'll draw straws.
Oh, before they draw straws, Matt attacks Jake. But then Jennifer knocks out Jake before he can kill Matt. They tie him up, and it must have hit him pretty hard because the next day he dies. And you know what that means. Dinner! So now they walk out of the desert.
Well, he would have just killed me when he was done with you. Besides, there was more of him.
Makes sense. Anyway, our film ends with the 2 of them walking, continuing to walk on. You can see them on the left, and as our camera pans out, we're going to find that they're very close to a road, which presumably will lead to a rescue. Alright, let's talk about this movie, A Savage Hunger, also known as the OASIS. Now, why do I have this movie? Well, back about 1998 or 1999 or so, Mark Metcalf, who played the pilot in this movie, you may remember him from Animal House, he owned a restaurant in the Milwaukee area here, actually it was in Ozaukee County near Mequon, called Libby, Montana. And he was on the radio promoting it, and they were talking about Animal House and his acting days, and he happened to mention that there was a movie that he had done that he had never actually seen, and my then fiancée, my first wife, asked me if I had the movie, and I said no, I did not. But I went out looking for it to see if I could find it. So I did. It was hard to find, actually. I found a pre-recorded VHS of it on eBay, bought it, and then once I had it, I called up at his restaurant and said, hey, I'd actually talked to his wife and said, hey, I got this movie he was looking for. He called me back and said, you got that movie? That'd be really cool. Why don't you come on down to my restaurant, bring me a copy of it, and I'll feed you. So I did. In fact, he told me on the phone, he was telling me some stories that he was also in The Final Terror, kind of a well-known horror movie that he hadn't seen either. I had that one, actually, so I made him videotapes of both of them. I kept the pre-recorded VHS. I wasn't going to give that up, but I made a copy of both movies, brought it down there, and he treated my fiancé and I to a full meal, a dessert. It was actually a really good meal, bison burgers. And then he sat and talked with us for a while, told us stories about his acting days and everything else, his Twisted Sister video. videos that he did, Animal House, pretty cool. So I recorded that actually on film somewhere. I don't know where that tape is, but I do have it. Anyway, on to the movie itself. The movie is actually a pretty good movie. I enjoyed it, actually. It's about a plane crash, happens in the Mexico desert. It was actually filmed in Death Valley National Park, which I've been to, by the way, 121 degrees when I was there, very hot. So anyway, they crash in the desert, and there's nobody around. They don't know what to do. Some people are dead, or some people are hurt and dying. And it's basically there's a group of people here, 5, 6, 7, 8 people trying to stay alive. Ultimately, some people die off, and this one guy decides, hey, we should eat somebody because we're gonna die if we don't. And this one guy disagrees. Then this woman dies, and then he buries her rather than have the other guy who wants to eat her chop her up. The guy gets mad that he buried the body and kills that guy, and then he cooks him up and eat him. By this time, there's only 3 people left: Chris Makepeace, Susan Snyder. Chris Makepeace from My Bodyguard, by the way, and this one guy. And then when they run out of food, Chris Makepeace thinks he's going to be next. He gets into a fight with the guy. Susan Snyder knocks him out, and then he dies, and then they eat him. The last thing in the movie is Susan Snyder, Chris Makepeace. They're in the desert still, but as we pan out, we see they're getting very close to a road, and presumably they'll be rescued at some point very shortly after that. So anyway, that's pretty much it. I think it was originally called The Oasis. VHS tape calls it A Savage Hunger, and it actually is a pretty good movie. Suzanne Snyder, you may remember her. She was in the movie Weird Science. She played Deb, one of the girlfriends in that movie. She has a couple of nude scenes in this movie. Lovely lady. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So anyway, like I said, not available on DVD. I made a DVD-R out of it. Made some box art here. Hard to find movie, but it is available on VHS. I'll leave a link to the Amazon if you're looking for the tape itself. I would imagine it's expensive, but I haven't looked, so we'll check it out. So anyway, check it out if you haven't seen this movie. If you can find this movie, it's pretty good, entertaining. So check it out, Savage Hunger, and let me know what you think about it. Leave some comments. Watch it. Bye.